Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock. And today on Sundays, a Sunday thought, I'm going to talk about. Oh my goodness. I haven't done this for a long time where it's blank. Self-talk. That's why I'm blank. I'm talking to myself here. I may have spoken about this before because I find it's very, very important as to how you talk to yourself, or that you are aware of how you're talking to yourself. I did a small workshop yesterday on affirmations, the importance of them, and from my point of view, the easiest way or the best way to do them, where we always look at what our response is to an affirmation we're saying. And that could be any word, actually, that we're saying, or any words that we are saying. And what I find very often is I just sit back. I might be watching a movie, or usually if it's something out there, it's easier than if, say, a book. It's harder to reading a book if you're in the book. But I also watch the thinking that's going by my mind. The ticker tapes they have that where the words go across and you're sitting reading it. And I always think of Times Square of that. They always have this news or whatever going through. If we can sit back enough in our minds and watch, we have thoughts happening all the time. Some thoughts are supportive and some thoughts are not supportive. Some thoughts are critical of ourselves or what we're seeing or what we're thinking about. And I feel it's very important to be aware of what those self-thoughts are. Are they supportive of yourself? Do they tell you, good job, keep on going, you're doing okay, whatever words it is that you want to hear or you think of that is supportive of you and your endeavors, whatever those may be, however they are. It is so easy to become self-critical. We want to be perfect, but there is a saying that says you're perfect in your imperfections. How are we perfect? It means we're very contained, very tight, always never doing anything spontaneously, all that stuff that really brings tension. I was never quite like that. I tried, but it didn't work. And what I found is that what is important is to spend a little time, preferably every day. Not that I always do it every day, because I quite do self-talk watching, probably a little more than most, is being aware of what's going on, because that's often what will come out in either your actions and or your words, or even in your face. It's like many people that they say words and you look at their face and their face is saying something so totally different. And that's because we're not in alignment what's on the inside and to the outside. So self-talk to me is one of the things we overlook a lot. And why am I talking about it today is because I had quite a bit to think about myself this week, about different things and about how I was handling or dealing or coping with what was going on. By the way, for those of you that watch regularly, you notice I can put this arm up now and I can use two hands. Still tight, but it's coming along. I'm waiting to get my earrings and I can't do it yet. Tried yesterday. No, this arm can't quite go there yet because it doesn't bend back. Anyway, it's moving, it's working, and I can actually do. And it's easy for me to type a little, not a lot, but my hand didn't want to turn that way to type. And so it's nice to be able to type faster, like I am. I was a typist for many years, so I can type fast. Plugging with one finger is not really comfortable. My self-talk at that point is a little critical of myself because it takes me longer. But anyway, it's great to be able to type even for a few minutes. And it's like knowing how to support yourself. I got myself a little sidetracked there. But that's what we do. So how do you, I know you can answer this, how do you support yourself? How do you say, good job, way to go? Or do you say, well, you could have done better, you shouldn't have said that, or, that critical element that comes in? I could be very critical of myself when I retrospect, because I tend to speak without thinking. I tend to be reactive, or I don't say anything. That's the other thing I do. I learned very early just to be quiet. having a dominant father, you've done, and getting really a lot of slaps or whatever you want to look at because you did answer a lot or you did was quick. I have a quick mind and it would come out my mouth. But anyway, and so it's like very often I sit in retrospect and take a look at things. You learn a lot that way, yes, but the thing is, how are you supporting yourself when you have had a situation where you're not as, what would you say, the way you wanted to be? And we're not perfect. I think one of the things is to learn to be able to celebrate our humanness, our imperfection, because who is perfect? Bobby, maybe? I don't know. I never had one. My kids did, but my daughter did. She had a Bobby. But we're not that any perfect. Who's perfect? I would really like to know. There's some beautiful women out there and on movies and TV, and you see them sometimes, just people naturally beautiful. But most of us are normal. We're just who we are. And our personality or our awareness of who we are and our genetics, I'm big on genetics, is how does that act out? Are we critical because maybe our body is a little bigger than what's normally accepted, or a little thinner, or we just need to accept who we are and love ourselves for who we are. And so let the self-talk that you do, which is always there, is really important, I think, to listen to it. Spend some time. I do it a lot watching TV, believe it or not. I can step back and kind of watch what's going over here to see what I need to maybe begin to work with, that I need to shift and change. So how do we shift and change a thought? And that's what I use a lot for my clients. Then I call it FER, F-E-R. So you have a thought that you don't want, that you don't support, that you don't particularly like. What you do is you freeze it. You freeze it in space and time. You just stop it. You evaporate the thought so it's not there. But then what you do, which is the most important part, is that you replace it. So freeze, evaporate, replace. Now, sometimes you have to do that a lot of times because you've had the other thought that you don't want anymore a lot. Thoughts have a tendency, it's like they're on a big turnaround. Some thoughts are on quicker turnarounds. It's like you see well, actually, if you're seeing them like I do, but you're having them a lot. And they often are the ones you don't really want to be having a lot because remember, every thought that's going out is creating your vibrational rate. Your thoughts are your vibration rate. What you put out comes back. What you put out. So you'll find, why am I having these arguments? Why am I stumbling over my feet? Why am I not achieving what I want to achieve? You got to take a look at the thoughts first. Everything begins with a thought. I was going to say everything ends with a thought. It's like, how do we, because then when we do get what we've been creating, how do we celebrate? A lot of people don't know how to celebrate. I used to know how to celebrate very well. And it's still, I like celebrating. I like having special times to celebrate. But that's another story. That's another program and another time. Right now, it's about looking at how that thinking process works. You're talking to yourself. When you're talking to yourself, are you telling yourself, I don't know how you do it. I'm okay. I'm great. I'm lovable. I'm successful. I can get where I want to go. I can deal with what I've got to deal with. I don't know. Or jeepers, nothing works right. I don't like this and I don't like that. And it's sort of a, more downer. And you're thinking, you can change that around because you are the creator of your life. You are the creator of your thinking process. So therefore, you're in command. It's like, yes, Captain, I can do this. But you need to be in command of the thinking, and you need to know how to change the thinking that's not yours. Your thoughts are your self-talk. Trouble is, we're not aware of most of them. And the key is to become aware of your own self-talk to yourself. I know when I get down and out, and it's been I've had some tough times this last year, emotionally, because when things were going, I was feeling really great, and then all of a sudden I went backwards. And you got to keep yourself on. And people often say things to me, you're always up, you're always kind, you're always this and that. And people who don't think, I guess that don't tell me. That's nice. But it's like a lot of it is because I work with the inner process. And so I'm not always up. I'm sad sometimes. I've cried a lot the last 6 months, that's for sure. But that's just a releasing exercise. And then I'm back to, okay, where are we going from here? Nothing wrong with tears. They can help clear the energy. So, what's the self talk that's going on in the tears is what's important. Are you making it harder for yourself, or are you supporting yourself? Thought is in almost everything that we do. And the key is to become aware of it. In other words, the question is, what is my self talk to me? What do I tell myself? Do I tell myself I can handle this? Do I tell myself also your goals, what you're wanting? I know what I want. I've got my list. I do them every January. So I'd like to see. And I go back and I look and I say, oh, okay, I haven't really worked on that one. In other words, you're in command of your life. But it begins with your thinking. And it begins particularly with the self-talk that you do consistently throughout your day. What are you telling yourself? How are you representing yourself to yourself? You are a special person because they're you. Love yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself through your thinking, because the thinking is the beginning of creating your world. And I trust you'll have a good day. It's getting spring, more and more warmer here. Flowers are showing up early this year, and we didn't have a lot of snow, so it'll probably be an interesting summer. We tend to have fires around here when we have dry summers, unfortunately. And I just want you to have a good day and a good week and a good month and a good year, creating and being appreciating actually being alive, and knowing that you are the master of your life, even though sometimes it feels like everything's crowding in and there's no room for what you want. So you just see it begin to happen, and it does. Anyway, this is Sunday Talk coming to an end. Thank you for being here. Thank you for comments and subscriptions and all the other lovely things that make my day. And I wish you well. And I'll see you tomorrow night when I'll answer with mental mind treatment, when we'll look at your numbers and your request of what you want. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye now.